What's up guys, my name is Adam, aka Drone Dad, and today I'm doing a battery test on the DJI Mini 2. Let's see how it does. Hit record and take off. So let me step back out of the way.
Take off.
And now we're going to wait and we're going to see how much flight time we can actually get out of this battery. You can hear it fighting the wind just a tiny bit, but not bad. As you can see right now, we've been recording for about 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and we are at 92%. I'll put on the screen right now what DJI actually advertises as the Mini 2's battery life. Of course, that is in a lab condition where there is no wind, it's not hot, nothing like that. That's just in absolutely perfect conditions, and that's probably also not including recording. That is just flying, whereas now we are recording at 4K at 30 frames a second, so that's going to drain it as well. But I wanted to give a real world use battery life. So it's a little gusty today, but not bad. I'll go ahead and throw what UAV forecast is saying is the winds right now at ground level today. The Mini 2 really handles wind very well for being as small as it is. So right now we're at 4.5 minutes of recording and we're at 84% battery life. It is saying that we should be getting another 24-ish minutes out of this. And I don't know if you can hear that from my microphone, but you can hear whenever the motors on the drone start to pick up a little bit, because the wind picks up and it has to kind of fight a little bit more to hold that position. But you can see it is rock solid. It's leaning just a little bit into the wind just to keep its position. But this Mini 2, for what it is, really is a fantastic drone. It's a great beginner drone, and really, if you know what you're doing, it can handle a lot of different tasks. And for this test, I'm not touching the controls on the drone. I literally turned the camera on, took off, and that is it, because every input, every time you move the joysticks, that uses up battery as well. I didn't want that. I wanted literally get in the air and sit in a real world situation where there's a little bit of wind and you are recording video. Now, so this is going to be the maximum. If you're flying around, obviously you're going to have a much lower, not much, but you're going to have a lower battery life. As you can see me, this right here is the Hero 10 Black, in case you're wondering what kind of cameras I'm looking at. And you can't see it on the video, but over here is the DJI Action 4. The microphone I'm using, if you're interested in is the DJI Wireless kit. It does have the wind muff on. Like I said, it is pretty windy today. So in case you were wondering, all of these things work really, really well. I am actually at a local university parking lot where they have the football field off in the background behind me. They have a baseball field, which is getting mowed right now. And then they have a giant field that they kind of use for youth soccer camps and leagues during the year. So as you can see, it's fighting the wind a little bit, but it's doing a great job. You can definitely hear it in the microphone by now with me getting this close to it. But right now you can see we're at about 7.5 minutes of flight time. We're at 73% battery. It's saying that we should be able to go about 19 minutes, 45 seconds-ish left at this rate. So we're just going to see how it does. We're going to continue to watch it this entire time. The wind is kind of swirling a little bit now, so you actually see the Mini, instead of leaning to its left side, is kind of leveled off and almost went to its right side a little bit. It's actually drifting now a little bit, as you can see. When the wind starts coming in from multiple directions, it does have a hard time sometimes of staying put. You know, a lot of people think that all drones should just stay put and not budge one bit. And really, it's unrealistic to ask a drone to do stuff like that, especially one that's as small as this, when the wind is coming from multiple directions. You know, it did perfectly fine not moving when the wind was coming from one side. It compensated for it, it made up for it, and kind of leaned into it. But now, whenever you go straight from that into the wind is now whipping around from the other direction, there's not a whole lot it can do except for just kind of give in and move off to the side a little bit. So for those naysayers criticizing it moving over, one, there's not a whole lot more it could do in that situation, and two, you'll notice that over time it slowly made its way pretty much back to where it had started from. Oh, there's a helicopter in the area. I don't necessarily think it's necessary for us to land since, you know, it says 6.5 feet off the ground, but that's more like 4.5. But maybe you'll see that in the background. Maybe you'll see the helicopter in the background of the video. Nobody report me to the FAA. I don't know if you can see that in the background. I think you can. Anyway, it's going by. It looks like a medevac helicopter. But anyways, update. We have been flying for almost 12 minutes. We are at 58% life. It still says that we should have about 15.5 minutes left going like this. And hey, I know what you're thinking. This may not be the most exciting video in the world for you, but some people like to know what their drone can do before they get out there. So if you know that it only does 28 minutes or whatever, then you know, hey, no matter what, it's definitely not doing more than that, and you can kind of fly according to what you know. Knowing your drone is one of the most important things you can do while flying a drone. If you know its limits, then you can move around that. Hopefully, woo, that drone doing a little moving now. Of course, coming up here in the middle of September, remote ID takes effect, and you'll need a remote ID module on your older drones. The newer drones will have them automatically built in. I know the Mini 3 Pro automatically has one, but ones like my Mini 2 here do not. So I'm waiting for the beacon. I paid for the drone tag beacon. It's currently on back order from drone tag. They said maybe early October it'll begin shipping, but who knows if that's accurate or not. So who knows? So if you're a subscriber to the channel, the end of September may be a little light on drone footage. I may just have to review some cameras and microphones and things like that, or maybe fly inside the house, because FAA can't stop you from flying inside closed structures. So we'll see what happens. All right, so this says we've been doing it about a little over 14 minutes, and we are at 48%. And it says we should be able to do this for another 13 minutes. So we'll see how that goes. I am going to try to go into the settings and see if I can change, because here before too long it's going to warn me about the low battery, and I'm going to have to keep canceling the return to home feature, because I want this to literally die and just come down. I don't want it to go up, because one thing I don't know if you know, return to home, it doesn't just come straight to you. What it does, and I have another video about this on my channel, if you return to home, it goes up to the set altitude that you have it set to, which right now is 49 feet. So if I didn't cancel the return to home function, what it would do is, say return to home, it would go up to 49 feet, come back to home, which is right where it is right now, so it wouldn't go anywhere. But if you flew away, it would go up to 49 feet, come over, and then down and land itself at the home position. So I don't want it to waste the time going up. So I'm just gonna keep trying to cancel that. So hopefully it'll just go straight down and land right where it took off from. So, but I'm gonna try to lower, you can set it up to where it does this automatically at 40% or 30% or 20%, whatever you might want it to be for your own safety and your own well-being. But I'm gonna try to go into the settings and see if I can't lower that to like 5% or something like that, something crazy, and we'll go from there. Basically what I'm gonna have to do is I'm just gonna have to keep watching the screen, and whenever it warns me saying, hey, battery's low, I'm gonna return to home, I'll just cancel that so it stays put. You can kind of see now the wind has calmed down a little bit, so you can probably hear it a little bit in the microphone, but you can definitely look at it. There's still an occasional gust that kind of hits, but I can see over here at the football field and the baseball field, the flags have dropped quite a bit, whereas before they were kind of blowing a little bit. So it might extend it a little bit on how much we could fly as opposed to the first half of the flight. As you can see now, we've been flying for almost 18 minutes now. It says we have about 9 minutes left, 35%. Here real soon, I suspect it's going to give me that low battery return to home warning, and I'm just gonna try to cancel that so that it stays put right here. If you look at my screen recording, you can actually tell when it's moving back and forth if you look at the edges of the screen. So if you look at the edge of the screen behind or in front of my van, it's wobbling back and forth just a little bit, and it's not bad because it does have a 3-axis gimbal, so it's going to stay smooth, but it is going to move a little bit. So that's a quick way to tell if you're flying and you don't know if it's windy up where the drone is. If you look in the corners of your footage, you can kind of see on the screen if it's moving back and forth or not. So now we're at 28% battery life. It says that we've got a little under 7 minutes left like this. We've been going for almost 20 minutes, about 19 and a half minutes we've been flying. So it's doing pretty good. So according to this, we should get about 25, 26 minutes of flight time of it just sitting like this. So something I just thought of, this might be the reason for this. The reason it may not be giving me the low battery is because it's sitting right over the home point, and so it knows it's not going to need much battery to get home. So that might be one reason why. DJI might take into effect how much time and energy it's going to take to return to home. So the fact that it's over the home point by 4 feet, that may be a reason why it's not freaking out yet and not saying, hey, what are you doing? We need to go home. So here in a little bit, we'll see. The longer I'm talking, the more I'm thinking that's probably why, is because it's understanding and recognizing, oh, there we go, low battery, return to home promptly. But you'll notice that it's not forcing it, it's just telling me to do it. And it did that whenever we got to 20%. So we're at 20%, 19% now. We've been going for 21 and a half minutes. So it's just gonna keep beeping at me the rest of the flight. It's kind of annoying, but they do anything they can to keep you from crashing your drone because the battery died. So it's saying we have about 4 minutes left of battery. We're at 16% now. In my opinion, on a battery, most of the time, 100 through 20%, that kind of goes slow, but once it starts getting lower, it starts dying faster. It's just kind of the way it works, kind of like the fuel tank on your car. It seems like it takes forever from full to about a quarter, and then after that, it kind of goes faster. The gauges aren't exactly always accurate. So we've been going for 22 and a half minutes. It says we have 3.5 minutes left with 14% of the battery. And again, it's not forcing me to return to home like it normally does if you're out flying. So that tells me it's probably only because, oh, you can see the wind picked up right there. It's probably because it knows home is right there, so it's gonna take literally a few seconds to get to home. It thinks it's gonna need to go up to 49 feet. I'll obviously just go ahead and land it, or let it land. I'll probably just try to keep canceling the return to home and just let it drop where it is. Not drop, you know what I mean, land. But I don't want it to go up to 49 feet and then come down. I want it to keep going until it literally sets itself down right there. Critically low battery. And it said that at 10%. So now you hear the beeping is double time. So it's really freaking out right now. I've never had it this low. I tend to baby my batteries. And whenever it gets to like 20%, I'm done, I'm landing it. At 30, I'm usually thinking of my strategy to bring it home. So right now we're at 8. It says it's got a minute, little under 2 minutes left. We're at 24%, 24 minutes, a little over of flight time. Now we're at 7%. So we're just gonna keep seeing what it does. If it forces the return to home, I'm just gonna say no. At that point, I will probably turn off the camera on the drone just so that I don't lose that footage. But right now it's at 6%. It's probably not very happy with me, but it's for science. I just forgot my white lab coat. So now you can see, oh, low battery landing, critically low battery, aircraft landing in current location after countdown, continue, and it just says confirm. So I guess it's gonna drop right where it is. Yep, so I'm gonna stop recording. So you can see, at 4% battery, it landed itself It did not go return to home, it just landed right where it was. So if you're relying on return to home and it's getting that low, I hate to break it to you, it's gonna land where it is. I've never done that before, so it was an experiment for me just as much as it was for you. So this will show you with the Mini 2, and I assume other DJI drones are going to behave in a similar way. If you get it that low, it is just gonna land. So take heed whenever you're flying out and about, maintaining visual line of sight, of course, that you need to have that exit strategy. You need to give it ample time back, especially if it's windy. If it's windy, fly into the wind. That way you're flying with a tailwind on the way back. It's getting pushed towards you with the wind. If you fly with the wind out, you're gonna be against it on the way back, and it may not have that battery that you think it has to get on its way back. Again, this was however long it was. We'll look at the tape. This is how long it was, and it was just sitting there. So obviously if you're flying around and moving, it's gonna be less. So please take this as a word of caution and understand your drone. That's what this whole video is about, is understanding the drone and how it behaves so that you can be a better pilot and you can get the most use out of these awesome, fun little gadgets.